This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Good Sunday morning to you. Welcome to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. If this is your first time joining us, here's what we do. We reach out to local business owners, educators, community leaders, and our team of experts to get their advice to help you as you start and develop your business. Each week, we present 7 segments, all designed to cover important topics that small businesses inevitably encounter. Everything from getting started to then running your business day to day. We look at a specific local industry and always wrap up with a success story too. We're here every Sunday morning on Wish TV and our live stream, wishtv.com. You can access recent content and share it with anyone you feel can use it on demand, BE&Oshow.com. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter, which is updated every Tuesday, and check out the Business, Equity, and Opportunities podcast, part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Listen and subscribe so you won't miss a minute. If you have questions or you'd like to be part of what we do, please email us, beo@wishtv.com. With that, here's what's coming up today on Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Meet the Vendor of the Month from the Office of Minority and Women Business Development. The CEO of INVETS tells us how his group helps veteran-owned small businesses succeed. We look at the Week in Business with Jane King from Wall Street. We're entering tax season. Ty Shea gives you tips for handling it. Today's industry focus is on one of Northern Indiana's biggest industries, recreational vehicles. And we meet another winner of the Champions of Diversity Award. So let's get to business with Getting Started. The Certified Vendor of the Month program is a joint venture of the Office of the Mayor of Indianapolis and the Office of Minority and Women Business Development. It shines a light on certified minority, women, veteran, and disabled-owned businesses. January's winner started her business when she saw a need within her own family.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting Started.
Consistent Care Transit LLC is a certified minority and women-owned business. The company offers seniors and others who have difficulties living by themselves help with daily living activities, transportation, and 24-hour care. Renee Coleman is the CEO. She started the business when she was a caretaker for her mother and had problems finding reliable transportation.
I'm the mother of 3. I'm dedicated to helping those who once helped us, which is seniors and young adults with disabilities. I'm originally from Chicago, and I've resided in Indianapolis for the last 8 years. I was a former mail carrier. Now I'm a home health aide, certified home health aide, and the CEO of Consistent Care Transit LLC. We won Certification Vendor of the Month for minority woman-owned business, and it is an honor. It is an honor. Ever since I started my company, I've just been trying to become certified with city and state. And right now we are city certified, and we're on the way to being state certified as well. And it's just an honor. It brings so many opportunities to the company, so much awareness to the company, just building that brand, and it just feels amazing. So the decision to become certified, I had to do some research on which certification that I wanted for the company, and I looked into minority women-owned business, and I just was so amazed at all the different opportunities that will come the way if I get this city certification. And I went and I applied. It took about 90 days, but the process has been like over a year doing research and just figuring out what's best for the company. And once I figured it out, I got certified, and now I'm certified, and I'm Vendor of the Month of 2023, January, so yeah. So Consistent Care Transit offers the new way of living for elders and young adults with disabilities. We provide them with adult day housing inside of our residential care home, and also non-medical transportation. We help them with daily living skills. We help them with transportation out to doctor's visits. We also help them with housing inside of our 24-hour care home, and we also provide respite care. I was selected for helping those who once helped us, which is our slogan. That is something that we live for, helping those who once helped us with the essentials of life, because as you become older, or if you have a disability, these are very vital: housing, transportation, and also activity throughout the day. So one place, one-stop shop, Consistent Care Transit does it all. Working with the state has been amazing. Like I said, they have given us so many opportunities for us, just featuring us on social media, coming to different events, being active with Consistent Care Transit helps us to grow, because we are a small business and we plan on being bigger one day. So bringing that awareness to the company, the brand, who we are, what we do, and how we can help those who once helped us, which is seniors and people with disabilities. That brings awareness to us to help Indianapolis grow as a whole and to help Consistent Care Transit grow as well. The certifications, I cannot stress that enough. Getting these certifications really help not only your business, but it helps you become the person that you always dreamed of being, giving you those credentials. Having those credentials help you to grow. The more credentials you have, it's not about who you know. By having those credentials, the people come to you instead of you going to find the people, because now you have exactly what they're looking for and you have people backing you. You have your credentials backing you, and that certification backs you in so many levels because it can take your business from small to big. Ooh, my future looks bright, it looks big. Consistent Care Transit, be on the lookout for us. We're doing big things this year. We have a lot of events coming up, so go on our social media website. Also visit our website as well, www.consistentcaretransit.com. Give us a call, we do free consultations. We also provide non-medical transportation, so not only to doctor's appointments, throughout the community as well. Give us a call. We also have a loyalty program. I just say Consistent Care Transit looks very bright.
Getting started, made possible by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
If you'd like more information about Consistent Care Transit's road to getting started, visit our website at beoshow.com. Next, if you're a military veteran looking for a civilian career, possibly starting your own business, you'll want to stay tuned for today's Access to Capital. That and more after we access a bit of capital of our own. Stick around. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunity. I'm Scott Sander. INVETS is a nonprofit organization founded by veterans that helps former service members by connecting them with Indiana employers and providing career building resources, whether you're looking for a job or looking to start your own business and seeking to access capital.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Access to Capital.
Blaine Zimmerman is the president and CEO of INVETS. He was in the Army's 10th Mountain Division before moving to Indiana and is now an officer in the Indiana National Guard. He uses that experience to help other veterans as they transition back into civilian life.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. INVETS is a nonprofit 501c3 public-private partnership in partnership with the Lieutenant Governor's Office and the Indiana Destination Development Corporation. And what we do is we recruit active duty service members as they come out of the military and tell them about why Indiana is a great place to live. While doing that, we partner with a little over 450 companies around the state to help those individuals find fantastic careers, from New Albany to Lake County and from Angola down to Evansville. You name it, we cover that part of the state. And our main goal is to help these transitioning service members find that great next step of life now that they're done with their service in the military. For the past 2 years, we've had somewhere around 3,500 service members sign up on our platform, which is a combination of folks that are just about to get out, maybe a year and a half out of getting out of the military, to folks that live here in Indiana. And to date, the last 2 years, we've helped right around 400 people per year move to the state of Indiana and become new Hoosier residents in great jobs here in the state. The first step is everybody that's getting out of the military, no matter the branch, has to go through about a week-long transition course that, I lovingly say, teaches you how to become a civilian. So these courses are going to teach resume building skills, interview skills, even things down to family budget, how to buy a house, things like that. Typically, during these week-long courses, they'll have a job fair or a job seminar in the middle of it, and my veteran engagement team will attend these job fairs, and they'll meet these folks where they're at and tell them about why Indiana is a great place. And of course, you've got 3 folks typically that you're talking to when you're talking about transitioning military. there's a certain subset, it's about 23% are going to stay wherever their last duty station is. Multiple reasons for that. A lot of times it's because they've been at that duty station for a while. They've already put down roots, and they might have a family. They don't want to pull their kids out of school. It's typically not our target market for obvious reasons. The two other markets are your people that are going to go back home, and that's about 27 to 30% are going to go back to home wherever that is. So we make sure that we target our native Hoosiers and bring them back. They've spent anywhere between 4 and 20 years all over the country and the world, seeing different things and maybe finding places that they think, oh, maybe this is a good place to live. And so we're reeling them back in, saying, remember what it was like here, remember why you liked Indiana, on top of all these legislative benefits. So discounted property tax for homeowners. There's a certain subset of children that can get tuition free at state schools for military members, depending on certain things, as well as military retirements tax free in the state. So the legislative benefits really help us with the selling points. And then, we talk a lot about the diversity of geography in Indiana. So we can offer just about everything except for a mountain or an ocean. If you want to live in a city and work in the suburbs, that's entirely possible in multiple places throughout the state. If you want to live in the suburbs and work in the city, obviously that's possible, but then you're always 30 minutes from the middle of nowhere. So a lot of the folks that we talk to, they want to, maybe have some land. They don't want to be within yelling distance of their neighbors, but maybe they want to work in finance. You can do both things here in Indiana, and that's one of the great things about the state. You can live in a very rural community and only be 20 minutes from the middle of downtown Indianapolis or Fort Wayne or Evansville. And then the third subset is what I call free agents. So about 49% of veterans getting out of the military are willing to go where the opportunity lies. And that's one of our biggest conversations, is the opportunity here in Indiana for our veterans. So we have more jobs right now than we have people. And we have some really great high-paying jobs in all sorts of sectors. So we're the #1 manufacturing per capita state in the country. I believe we're in the top 4 in logistics. We're obviously huge in healthcare and pharmaceuticals. And then IT is a booming industry. IT is one of the industries that we talk to service members about all the time, because sometimes they say, I don't really know what that means, but I know that they make good money and it sounds like a good career path. So we talk about the different ways to get folks in the IT industry, or if they're just, completely, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. We go through the different options in different parts of the state. And what we really try to do is partner folks with the community first, and then find the job in the right community for them, because each of our communities kind of have their own, feel and vibe to them. And we want to make sure that we're partnering the veterans up with the right community where they feel like this is home and this is welcome, so they'll stay there. Probably the biggest conversation we have with that population that's willing to go where the opportunity is, the conversation will start by, have you ever thought about moving to Indiana? And the very first response is typically, well, I've never even thought about Indiana, let alone moving there. And then once you start to talk about the different benefits and what the lifestyle's like, and the cost of living being incredibly low, the amount of opportunity and jobs, and then the ways that you can get involved. I mean, we're known as a state for being a very volunteer-driven state. Hoosier hospitality is big. It's a place where if you're coming in as an outsider, you're going to feel welcome. And then in turn, hopefully you're going to want to be more involved in your community, which causes long-term Hoosier residents. Where we really focus our efforts is getting away from the transactional conversation of how can I help you find a job. Getting out of the military is a transformational moment in somebody's life. You're going from a career that was really safe, relatively speaking, safe as in you knew you had a paycheck on the 1st and the 15th. You know what time you have to be, where you have to be there, and what you're supposed to wear every single day. And so you're coming into an environment, which is the civilian world, where that is not very clearly defined for you anymore. So you're losing a lot of that structure. And we want to make sure that people understand that it's not as simple as, well, we found this veteran a job, so that person's going to be okay. There's way more to the process than that. We need to make sure that we're, enveloping our veterans into our communities and making them feel a part of their community, not as that's veteran Steve, he was in the Army, but as Steve just moved to our community and he's really excited about being a part of the Little League group in our town, and finding ways to really integrate our veterans into our community on top of having that great career. Yeah, it's been overwhelmingly positive. Our outreach and partnership manager, Brian Evans, and I have spent the last year and a half touring around different communities in the state. Towards the end of the last year, the most recent one we did was in Newcastle on the east side of the state. And really, the big conversation, I always like to start it with, do you think that your community is veteran friendly? And overwhelmingly, everybody says yes, right? Because, if you're from Indiana and you've been to many communities, I think that it's probably safe to say that you've seen things like a Veterans Memorial, or maybe on the lampposts down Main Street, there's the flags or the banners that identify the veterans that came from their community. And those things are great. That's really good veteran recognition and to show that you support veterans. Is it veteran friendly is the next question I like to ask. Because while support is awesome, bringing folks into your community and making them feel welcome and making them feel like they're back to being a part of something bigger than themselves is really what these veterans are looking for, because that's what they're missing from being in the service. They're missing that higher calling. And so if they can get into a community where they can really feel involved and really a part of the community, they don't feel like, well, that's, like I said, Steve from the Army, where he's kind of ostracized and people just feel like they need to come up and say thank you for your service. He feels like he's a part of that community, and they understand that his experiences in the military is going to bring a new viewpoint or maybe a new idea to some problem set that they may be trying to solve. Like I said before, you're going from a place that's told you where to be, what time to be there, and what to wear. And so you not only now have to build a business plan from the ground up relatively by yourself, but you have way more micro decisions throughout every day that you hadn't previously thought about, right? I remember that was something I struggled with, where it hit me a month and a half in to being a civilian, where I was like, picking out what to wear every day takes a little bit of your mental energy, and all of those micro decisions add up. By the end of the day, you're spent. And so it's a matter of understanding, like, what type of systems can I personally put in place to give me that structure that I had for so long to be able to help me succeed in what I want to do.
Next, Jane King weighs in on what business owners need to watch with the new Congress. Stay with us.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
This week in business, we have watched as the new Congress has started its session, with the House in particular making several major moves. Also, new surveys offer some insight into the worries that small business owners are carrying into the new year. Jane King watches it all close to the action at the NASDAQ and joins us now. Jane, thanks for being with us. How closely does Wall Street watch the Capitol? And I guess what's the early read on the new Congress?
That's right, pretty closely. And if you're looking for things that could impact small businesses, it's really all about taxes. And there's potentially, of course, they've already talked about, the Republican Congress, about eliminating the, 87,000 IRS agents that are being hired. And then also there was something called the the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and they want to make that permanent. So this is designed to level the playing field, really, between small and medium-sized businesses and big businesses. And what it does is it does allow the first 20% of revenues to be deducted on your taxes. So that way you can take that extra money, invest in expansion, hiring people, things like that. So the Small Business Administration, some other small business lobbyists want to make that permanent. So that's one thing in particular we're going to be watching for in the new Congress.
Well, it's interesting as well, because now that we have a divided House and Senate, the House, for instance, may say this is happening. If the Senate says no, it's not, then nothing may end up happening. So,
well, that's gridlock, yes, and and it's kind of funny because typically the stock market likes gridlock because they don't want any big changes one way or the other. And if you got gridlock, you kind of know what you're dealing with, but it also prevents some innovative and kind of new programs like it's for the economy from happening as well. But I think just in general, the reins on spending that we may see happen could be very helpful for inflation. That's one thing that small business has been dealing a lot with.
Well, and to that end as well, you've come up with a couple of surveys that you spotted showing the concerns and attitudes of entrepreneurs and small business owners. Let's start with this first one that does talk specifically about the fears that people have about inflation.
That's right. So this is from Payments. It's a digital payments company. And there have been some other surveys that have supported this as well, that small and medium-sized businesses say inflation is their number one concern, and by a really high percentage. In fact, they've talked about how they have had to pass along their higher costs to their customers. So you can see how this inflation can spiral and trickle down to people. In particular, it was wages. They've really had to pay up to get workers, and still that shortage of workers is a big concern for small and medium-sized businesses. 6% of these small and medium-sized businesses say they've even considered bankruptcy because of the higher costs. Now, of course, different small businesses are impacted in different ways. If you are heavily reliant on fuel, transportation of things, it was a really tough, especially spring and summer for you, or food costs, things like that. So the ones that are really influenced and really impacted by inflation are the ones that are struggling the most.
And to that end as well, other surveys suggest, I don't know if glum's the right word, but kind of an overall attitude of not feeling very positive.
That's right. So the National Federation of Independent Businesses, NFIB, comes out every month with the Small Business Optimism Index, and they did see it go down a little bit in December. So they say, again, still having trouble finding workers. They say that's their number one issue. And then also just all this talk of a recession and a potential slowdown in the economy that seems to be weighing on business owners' minds as well.
Well, one of the things you kindly sort of guided us through over these months that we've been talking is if inflation, that picture is improving, what does that mean then for this issue of a possible recession, and that one may not work well with the other, but that may kind of be the point too. So it's such a fine balancing act.
It always is, right? It's a very fine needle to thread, and there's this, but there's this when it comes to the economy. So, I mean, what you want to see is growth, but nothing too, exaggerated growth, and that brings things that are inflationary. And we don't want to see negative growth. That's a recession or even a depression. So we just want a little bit of growth, and that's what the Federal Reserve is trying to get us back to with these interest rate increases.
Jane, as always, thanks for the analysis, the insight, sort of the take on the word from Wall Street, especially that notion that maybe gridlock's not something to always fear, at least in terms to when it comes to small businesses managing their money. Jane, thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Have a good one.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Time to talk tax season. Very few people's favorite topics, but one that Ty Shea knows well. He's the Chief Financial Officer of Circle City Broadcasting, of course, the parent company of Wish TV. Ty, thank you for being with us. Is tax season fun for you? It seems to not be for most people.
Oh, fun. That's a relative word, right? Let's maybe put it in quotes. Fun.
Yeah.
Yes, that time is upon us, and there are lots of obligations for a business owner, certainly in the first few months of the new year, kind of putting a bow on the prior year. And chief among those are, W-2s for your employees, so that they can file their individual personal income taxes. Form 1099s, so those are basically a collection of the payments you've made to certain vendors during the year, and they will ask about those and certainly require those. And those are due by the end of January. Additionally, you have your property taxes, and those are often due sometime in May for the prior year. And then, finally, the business taxes, which then flow into, as a business owner, your personal taxes. So there are there's lots of kind of tidying up that goes on in that period right after year end.
One thing we've learned from our contributors in the months that we've been doing this is that it is so hard to know in December or in January what it's going to look like in December. You may start with no employees, move most of the year like that, and then all of a sudden you got people working for you, tax implications, things like that. As much as is possible, in other words, whatever the structure is at the moment in January, is it pretty important to get a jump on that right away so that you can handle the knowns so that whatever the unknowns are down the line, you can deal with them?
Yeah, of course. And so, I mean, and that's where I highly recommend involving third parties to assist you with some of these things. For instance, payroll, I will always kind of support bringing in, or whether it's a third party person or a payroll service, they're the ones who can prepare your W-2s, which, that's just a big headache that you as a business owner probably don't want to entangle yourself with. Things like property tax returns really don't take that long to put together. And, if you have a business manager, even yourself, if you need to, you can probably put one of those together in a couple of hours. And I've found that in working with the agencies that require you to report that information, if you're upfront and communicative with them, they'll often help you and assist you in that process as well. But yes, I'm a firm believer in always, preparing ahead of time for contingencies down the road, certainly.
I don't ever want to, do the whole scared straight thing where it's like, well, do this or you'll have it. But unlike, say, a biscuit maker who can change his recipe however he or she wants to, or the sprocket maker who may change the diameter of something as they want to, the rules about taxes are pretty well set, and if you run afoul of those, you could really find yourself in some deep water, correct?
Yeah, and usually it's more out of just, negligence and just ignoring something. Like I said, I found, as long as you, communicate with those folks, they generally are there to help you, and they want to see and make sure you get paid up and get squared away as well. They're not out there to close down businesses, and so if you can be kind of proactive and initiating those conversations, a business owner should be just fine.
Hi, Shay. Good tax season to you. We wish you well, and we thank you as always for your insight and support.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Scott.
If you'd like to know more about the topic of taxes or need information about any of our segments, visit our website. It's beoshow.com. Still to come on Business Equity and Opportunities, more tips on running your business day to day. Keep it here.
Grow your business with Wish TV's featured business directory. For less than $200 a month, he wanted the limited businesses in 30 different categories, benefiting from one of the top visited websites in Indiana and Indiana's only statewide news station. Space is limited. Contact us today. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Our contributors have told us time and again, when running a business day to day, a key challenge for most startups is getting the word out, being seen, finding ways to let customers know we're out there. We've featured strategies that include PR, marketing, community involvement, and more. Today we have a new one to share, and full disclosure, it's from our team. Caitlin Hoopengartner is a digital sales manager with our sister company, Circulus Digital, all part of the Circle City Broadcasting brand. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on.
Loyal viewers have seen and heard a little bit about this before, but tell us, the Featured Business Directory, what is it?
Well, it's something brand new we're doing on wishtv.com. It's a special section of our website where businesses can be listed and give the pertinent information, how to reach them, links to their website, just the key information.
It's in a project that can help both sort of sides of the user experience is pretty lucrative possibility. How could this help not just the customer, but the business owner?
Exactly. So from a customer standpoint, we all want to reach out to individuals that we trust. We want to reach out to businesses that we want to invite into our home who are trustworthy. And so that's what this provides to our viewers, a place for trustworthy businesses. From a business standpoint, it's here to help you grow.
And then you think you have some really big strengths here. 3 ones in particular, so let's go through each of these.
Yes.
The idea of credibility.
Credibility is huge. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but our company's been around for...
Maybe you're bragging a little bit.
All right. I am. But we've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And when you're associated with a brand like Wish TV or Circulus Digital Media, there's some instant credibility that comes with that.
And with the current generation and all the digital possibilities, that kind of brings in the second part of a sort of like an overarching idea that you've got some individual talent and abilities here. The second being the built-in audience.
Exactly. WishTV.com is a massive website. We do a ton of news. We have a ton of content. We have a ton of people that come and consume that. About 1.6 million unique people. And I just mentioned that number to kind of give you a sense of how big that really is.
So as a new business owner, as an entrepreneur, you spend your whole life not caring where you would show up in Google searches, and then all of a sudden it becomes like the most important thing in the world. There may be an edge up on that through this project.
Exactly. Most people, when they are starting the process of looking for someone, it starts on a search engine.
Right.
And so it has become so important. And so to help you with that search engine results, it's good to be associated with an authoritative site like WishTV.com. The search engines deem us trustworthy because of what we do. And so being associated with us, like in the featured business directory, that helps you when it comes to those search results.
One of the things that you're good about is if somebody is intrigued by this, one of our friends, viewers, potential business owners says that might help me, or no, I'm all in, I'm really interested in this. You have a number of different ways people can reach out to you.
Exactly.
Go through them.
Well, you can scan the QR code on the screen. You can reach out to us at Wish Sales Advertising at wishtv.com. And you can, of course, check out the featured business directory at wishtv.com/business directory.
Caitlin, thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Grow your business with Wish TV's featured business directory. For less than $200 a month, be one of the limited businesses in 30 different categories, benefiting from one of the top visited websites in Indiana and Indiana's only statewide news station. Space is limited. Contact us today.
If you'd like more information about this segment or anything we've done on the show, please check out our website, beoshow.com. Up next, our industry focus hits the open road with a look at the world of recreational vehicles. You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities. Now, watch these messages. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Indiana is well known as the recreational vehicle capital of the world. Manufacturers say that factories in northern Indiana make up more than 80% of the RVs in the world. This week, our industry focus looks at the place where the customers then see and buy all those Indiana products.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Ken Eckstein is the owner of Mount Comfort RV in Greenfield. He's a 40-year veteran of the RV industry. He started his career washing trailers while he was still in high school.
The first RV show I set up was 1973. So this will be 50 years setting up RV shows in the West Pavilion. And back then, we were absolutely a niche market. We were, people would buy a $3,000 trailer so they wouldn't have to pay $29.95 to stay in a Holiday Inn. We are definitely mainstream now, and it's appealing to a much, much broader segment of the population than it ever has. And like you noted, in Indiana, I don't think people are starting to become aware of what we are, but 83% of the RVs produced in North America come from northern Indiana. And it's a huge employer. It's tens of billions of dollars that the industry generates. And again, all the jobs that come down the line. And like I said, we in Elkhart, we build everything from tent campers up to the luxury diesel pushers. The history of the RV industry, when you look at it, the reason Elkhart became attractive is because that's where the suppliers were. So people would build close to where the suppliers are. So you've got a whole network of suppliers, little guys, little machine shops building fender wells and door handles. And then you got massive suppliers like Furion, that comes in and builds a huge building with thousands of employees, and again to supply the appliances and such. So yeah, it all trickles in. I've got a friend that says we don't manufacture RVs, we assemble them. And there's some truth to that, because you've got furniture, appliances, everything that goes into a house goes into an RV. And when you look at a motorhome, everything that goes into a car goes into an RV. So you're marrying all those components together. Like, this is the luxury condominium on wheels, so it's got all the stuff in it. I mean, this has built-in washer and dryer, and TVs, hardwood cabinet. The bathroom's always a great. The shower's impressive in this coach particularly. Their whole marketing thrust with this is take their $1 million motorhome and build a small version of it. Well, and to appreciate the fact that you've got a luxury condominium that you're taking down the road at 70 miles an hour. I mean, put your house in a 1 hour earthquake, and that's what these do, driving from here to Cincinnati. So it's pretty impressive. I'm in the RV business, so it's a roller coaster ride. But we've got friends down at the State House. We've got lobbyists that we work with, and I think for years it has been an uphill battle working with those people. You felt like you're fighting them. In the last 10 years or so, there's absolutely a partnership between the government and the RV industry. And I think we're able to retain a lot of people and a lot of that industry in Indiana because it is a favorable work environment. The RV lifestyle makes sense from a standpoint of self-isolation, from quarantine, and that attracted a lot of people. And what happened, people get out there and they realize the family, the outdoors, and the things that the lifestyle absolutely offers. And I think that's why we saw such an uptick in sales. At the same time, the supply side went down. I think it kind of created a feeding frenzy. But we're seeing a much younger demographic coming into the RV business. 50 years ago, our demographic was 55 years and older. Now one of my manufacturers said in 2021, 38% of the first-time buyers were under 35. As the culture shifts, as we stop being a niche market and start going into mainstream, you see gas stations, you see restaurants, you see places that are a lot more accommodating to RVs. One of the things I got to smile at is you turn on the TV and you see a car commercial, it's pulling a fifth wheel. You see an insurance commercial and they're talking about RV insurance. That didn't happen 10 years ago. But now I think we are mainstream, and there are gas stations, restaurants, ironically even hotels that are becoming much more accommodating to RVs. For the last 25, 30 years, everything we've seen has been bigger, fancier, more. Let's put a slide out on, let's put 2 slide outs on, why not put 3 slide outs on? We're 300 horsepower, why not go 400 horsepower, let's go 600 horsepower. There's a backlash right now, which I'm going to call it the adventure RV, to people that want to get back to nature and get back to camping. And we're seeing a much simpler type RV, a much simpler build, and that again was a niche 5 years ago, and that niche is growing exponentially. It wouldn't surprise me if we see more of that coming down the road. I think electric RVs, I don't think the technology is there yet. There's manufacturers that are prototyping and experimenting on that, have been for several years now. But I don't know how soon that's in our future. But we're seeing a definite shift in the demographic. The younger demographic, that 35-year-old, is not afraid, of sleeping out without air conditioning. Now he has to have Bluetooth, but they don't have to have air conditioning. So it's a different demographic. We're seeing a different market, and I don't know where we're going to go from a technology standpoint. 2001. The RV population was about 12% of the people. If you went into a mall and said, do you ever want to own an RV? It was like 12%. That's over 22% now. So again, we've gone from a niche to mainstream. And again, when that younger demographic comes in, if they buy a tent camper at 35, then maybe they buy a trailer at 40, maybe they buy their motorhome at 50, and maybe they buy a retirement fifth wheel at 60. So again, it's a huge opportunity for the RV industry, and again, that translates into a huge opportunity for Elkhart, which means a huge opportunity for Indiana.
As always, if you'd like more information about this story or anything we've done, BEOshow.com is your spot. Next, our success story. We meet another champion of diversity. You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities, and we'll be back in 1 minute, 35 seconds.
Grow your business with Wish TV's featured business directory. For less than $200 a month, be one of the limited businesses in 30 different categories, benefiting from one of the top visited websites in Indiana and Indiana's only statewide news station. Space is limited. Contact us today.
Welcome again to Business Equity and Opportunities. For a few weeks now, our success stories have highlighted champions of diversity, winners of an award from Indianapolis Minority Business Magazine. We found this week's champion out at the airport.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities Success Story.
Holly Harrington is Senior Director of Supplier Diversity and Diversity Officer for the Indianapolis Airport Authority. She's also a Champion of Diversity winner.
I got here, I moved to Indiana in 1991 after graduating from Howard University, and I worked for Eli Lilly and Company as a mechanical engineer. So a lot of people don't know that I have a STEM background, but as part of a cross-functional assignment, it led me into HR and then procurement, where I got into supplier diversity. So on the HR side, I did EEO work, and then for people, and then I was asked to do diversity work for businesses. So that led me to the role I'm in now. I was as supplier diversity at the Indianapolis Airport, and then later became the diversity officer, which is a great culmination of all my experiences from, even engineering, as you're working with construction contractors, as well as having a good background in HR to help drive equity. And then you bring it all together and try to influence culture at the airport. I'm very excited and I would say more so humbled because I feel like I'm getting an award to do what I consider to be my passion. I grew up in inner city Detroit, and my parents instilled service as well as the rest of my family. My father was a pharmacist, so serving people. My mother was a teacher. I have uncles and a grandfather that were ministers, so all I know is giving back. And so to have a job that allows me to do that in the community as well as within the organization is an honor. And so for folks to call me a champion of diversity, one of my friends said before diversity was in, it was just in my being of trying to help others, be an advocate for others, be a voice for others. And I think that was because so many people did it for me. So I think you're kind of accountable to have to pay that forward. And again, it's a blessing for that to be my job. It's awesome when you can be a part of an organization that has similar values. So my personal values align to the values of the organization. So what we're trying to do is make sure the internal workforce feels valued. We really believe that people contribute and engage when they feel valued and respected. And that is right in line with our core values. And then when you flip that on the customer service side, when you're trying to attract people to come to your organization, you want them to feel like they belong, and you want that to be everybody. So when you're doing that from an internal perspective, our employees exude customer service and go out of their way when they see someone maybe struggling in some kind of way, because we all know what that feels like. And so I think by our own experience, we apply that to our work environment and move it forward. Specifically to the supplier diversity side, I don't sign a contract, so I like to give all the credit to my leadership team and then the individuals within the organizations that make decisions. They are intentional about being inclusive. So we make sure that we consider individuals, and sometimes it's still a win when they don't win the contract, because we're in a position where we can give them feedback on what they need to do moving forward so they're ready that next time around. So this year we have already spent over $24 million with disadvantaged minority and women and veteran-owned businesses, but work and influence others to make sure we consider the whole community. And what you wind up with is the individuals that are helping with all of our projects, be it construction, be it professional services, be it our concessions, reflect the community of Indianapolis. I always talk about potential versus progress. And while we've made progress, there's still an opportunity for a lot more potential. And I think it's very cyclical, and I say this about a lot of things, is that it's changing. So even though we've made progress in one area of diversity, there's going to be new facets. I mean, I talked to my kids about there were no cell phones when I grew up. You know, technology is really having a huge impact on what the future is going to look like. And so that implies people change. And what they need changes. So from a diversity standpoint, you know, you've heard a lot about the world is becoming more brown. And so we just have to learn what that looks like. But you have to take into consideration there are different shades of brown. All shades of brown are not the same. So it's continuing to evolve and even broaden, but we've got to make sure that we keep our eye on it and are working to understand everyone. And I like to say equity is meeting people where they are. So you should be able to be your authentic self and be able to do your best. And for individuals who have different experiences, we have to learn to lean in and be somewhat vulnerable and in order to learn so that we're not forcing our ideas on other people. We need to really be working together. And you know, an old saying is 2 heads are better than one, and that becomes exponential. So the more we figure out how to work together, the better our community will be.
Thank you so much for joining us for Business Equity and Opportunities. We hope you found what we've done here helpful to your success. You can find more information on our website. Again, it's BEOshow.com. You'll find the segments from the show designed to interest anyone thinking about starting a business or if you're currently operating one. For even more, listen to and subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Sign up for our newsletter to get more valuable, up-to-date information. If you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, email us, beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday and every Sunday morning at 10 here on Wish TV, or stream the show from wishtv.com. I'm Scott Sander. Have a great Sunday.
Business, Equity, and Opportunities is made possible by Indiana Economic Development Corporation.